Gen Z deserves better movies than this. Like, we had problematic storylines in the early 90s, 2000 movies too, but I mean, at least there were storylines. Hi, I'm Abby, and welcome to my channel. I saw that Tall Girl 2 came out the other day, and of course, all my favorite creators already made videos on it down here, which forces me to make this before I get to watch any of those, so here we are. Contrary to weird popular belief on my TikTok, I'm a short girl. I'm a shorty. It's all of 5'0", even though my license may or may not say 5'1". Which is to say, I can't exactly relate to these struggles and hardships faced by Jodie, the protagonist from Tall Girl, and now Tall Girl 2, Electric Boogaloo. It is, of course, early in the year, but I think I can pretty safely say that this is the most anticipated sequel of 2022. Everyone wants to find out what was going to happen now that, as in the end of Tall Girl, she finds out that, it's okay to be tall. Also, at the end of the first movie, she decides it's also totally fine to date this short little gremlin boy, Dunkin' Donuts, who carries around a milk crate just to kiss her. For some reason, everyone on YouTube seems to love this little gremlin. But I have to say, as insufferable as Jodie's personality can be, I feel like more conversation should be had about this little creep. Okay, sure, he loved her for her when everybody else didn't. But I feel like, the message of if you just pine after someone forever and you're nice to her when everyone else is mean to her, eventually you'll get her. I feel like it's a bit problematic. And all these thoughts I had were validated by Tall Girl 2, where this girl has thousands of better options presented to her because, of course, now that she's confident in her highness, now that she's confident in her height, everyone loves her now because that's how high school works. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought it'd be fun to just kind of sit back. I've been behind on doing some of my music cover videos, but I've been working on The Shining, and that video's finally up, so I'm glad. I'm done with that. If you want to go ahead and watch that, I will link it at the end of this video. But today, we're just going to sit down and we're just going to talk about Tall Girl 2. So, here we go. Just to reiterate what I said in the intro, I feel like, okay, I'm probably definitely biased in saying this, right? But I feel like teen movies have a bit of an edge over the modern teen movies of today. There's a reason there's been a bunch of bad rehashings of those lately. Some of them clearly have, pretty badly aged jokes, but overall they stand up. Yeah, you've got 10 Things I Hate About You, or as I like to call it, the feminine introduction to Heath Ledger. You've got Molly Ringwald movie. You've got Stand By Me. There's things happening in these movies, real conflicts. It's kind of cliche, right? But I can kind of remember being in high school and hearing about people actually place bets on the dating pool and all that. But I gotta say, I can't really remember a time where the 6-foot blonde girl was bullied. And I know that's a bit unfair. I'm 5'1". I've never really had a problem finding someone taller than me to date, and I understand that is a struggle. But what I'm trying to say is that it felt like someone was trying to make a point in these movies. Someone was trying to at least try and emulate the teen experience. Somewhere along the line here, there was an attempt to entertain a young demographic, right? I feel like this generation just deserves that same effort. It's just that effort is not present in Tall Girl. And now, because we stray further from God's light every day, there's a sequel to Tall Girl. I would have gone with, Tall Girl 2, The Second Story, but that's just me. So, if you haven't seen the first one, don't worry, because they do a little recap. It's actually been 3 years since the first movie came out, but canonically it's only been about 3 months. Dinkelberg and Jodie are now dating, and they're doing the whole, classic retelling our story to the cashier who doesn't care thing, just to give us the rundown of the first movie. And then they kiss without the milk crate, which, kind of defeats the whole, part of the first movie, but okay. Not only is Jodie tall now, but she's allowed to be tall. And she's just so confident, right, in this newfound tallness that everyone who treated her like crap before now loves her, I guess. Except for that Kimmy girl, of course. She gets asked out within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and Dunky does not like that. Dunk rears his little creep head and, is go away, a little overprotective creep. She's so confident now that she's actually going to try out for the school play, Bye Bye Birdie. And they sign up and they celebrate with fake champagne glasses and cider, which Side note, is this allowed? Like when I was a senior, right? We had water pong in our senior lounge, and our teacher had to keep coming by to make sure there wasn't like any beer in it. And we wouldn't put beer in it, but like we were just a pretty boisterous class, and always suspect of tomfoolery. But I feel like if I saw this as a teacher, I feel like this might be a big red flag. Like but it's not alcoholic, right? She signs up for the play. And then the Swedish boy from the last movie, Stig. And this kid, he messed up a little bit in the last movie, but he's eager to get back in everyone's good graces. He's still living with Duncan, so he's trying to get on his good terms with him. And Duncan's still being really mean to him. I mean, I feel like, okay, he deserves more justice than he ever got, right? Because, like, Duncan is so mean to him, and, like, I get it. I get why he would be, right? But, like, get over it, dude. It's been a while at this point. And even Jodie wants to forgive him. And so does Frida. Then she goes to the audition, and she meets Tony Soprano, who is just, so clearly a better choice for her from the first shot he's introduced than, Duncan is. Yeah, they chat a bit about performing, and he actually brings up her homecoming speech, and he calls it, this great work of art. Essentially, he starts monologuing it a little bit. And it kind of does feel insulting, but he's being genuine about it. Theater kids. It's honestly still better than anything Donut Boy ever said to her. And so she auditions, and the theater professor straight up asks her this.
A terminal illness, being homeless, those are real problems. What do you have to complain about?
It's like, okay, girl, I know this is like supposed to be calling out the audience, right? Like, oh, what, you don't think tall is a real problem? But can we think about this? Was her homecoming speech like so regaled throughout this school as like the greatest monologue of all time that, this woman just got wind of it and was like, she needs to be in the play? Like, what actual like audition would you ever be at where they would ask you something like that? Does this teacher just ask this to every super tall girl that auditions for her plays? Of course, if you couldn't have guessed, she does get the lead. And we also learned that her sister Harper, who for some reason kind of looks like she's 25 and has some facial work done, got a job in LA. And I guess Jodie's dad and Doogleberry text all the time, which, it's kind of a red flag, I'd say. If your significant other is texting your parents all the time, that's like, I don't know, that's kind of weird. And they got that State Farm guy for this. I thought that was kind of hilarious. So he's branching out. Meanwhile, Kimmy, the mean girl from the previous movie, is bullying the teacher in the bathroom for not giving her the part. Another thing I feel like you can add to the list of things in this movie that would not happen in real life. But this is the tall girl universe, or the TGU, if you will. So here we are. Kimmy decides to start sabotaging Jodie in order to, make her drop out of the play. But it kind of turns out she doesn't really need to do a whole lot. This whole montage, she's not great in the beginning, but she gradually gets better. Once again, okay, so apparently everyone in this movie is also like secretly in love with Jodie. The boy that she made out with in the previous movie, who's friends with Kimmy, is like not friends with Kimmy anymore because he's like in love with her, I guess. Tony Soprano is also very clearly into her. The only real conflict so far that comes out about this time in the movie is this little voice inside her head, telling her she's not good enough, telling her she's gonna mess it all up. Oh, the paranoia. I'm sorry, I actually kind of liked this when it, wasn't really kind of cringy. I was a theater kid at one point. And I can relate to this as I feel like, anyone who has ever got up on a stage and done a performance can relate to this. Voice inside her head thing was kind of, cool to see. At the same time, it kind of felt like a half-baked plot idea. Like they were writing the script, but halfway through they were like, oh shit, we actually we need a conflict of some sort. I don't know, it's there. There's the conflict. She's nervous. Now it's their anniversary, and Dinkelberg tries and fails to make a turducken. Which, honest to God, if he didn't give me Ted Mosby vibes before, IKEA man comes in to help like the precious little boy he is, and he basically winds up saving their entire anniversary evening. But no worries, because Dunk's, he's still gonna mess it up. He can he can sense she's like a little anxious about all this, so he tells her it's fine if she wants to go home and rehearse. He's like, I don't know your process. So she stands up to leave, and then he gets mad. And it's like, yeah, well, you didn't see that coming. This little creep who's been breathing down her neck since like they were kids is gonna get mad the second she wants to do something without him. This scene, it kind of changed the whole movie for me because I was kind of enjoying it, right? Up until this moment where I was like, okay, maybe I can stand Duncan. Then I was like, no, he's done. Because, okay, he's complaining about not getting to spend any time with her, right? But literally in every shot of the movie we've seen before this, he's with her. When you're literally, like, when she's not on stage, she's been in every scene with you, essentially. Dude, shut up. They have a big fight, and the next day at school, they break up. At this point in the movie, I'm kind of ecstatic. You know, I was like, oh, wow, maybe this is going to take a turn. Like, thank God she's actually finally seen that the boy pining after her for years isn't the greatest or most supportive romantic partner, and now she can go pursue better things. Like Tony Soprano. Yeah, when you're in high school and you've been dating for 3 months and someone reveals a trait or something, or does something you don't like, yeah, you should break up. Like, normalize breaking up. So since, you know, nobody is giving this beautiful and devoted man the time that he deserves, the host parents actually surprise him with this visit from his sister, who is kind of relevant in the big, you know, scheme of things. But she is another tall girl. So, yeah. Like, I really did think it was going to be kind of part of the conflict, but not really. She and Dookie become best friends, I guess. And they don't even really date. They just kind of hang out. And then she just makes Jody really jealous. But at the same time, she's got this whole play to rehearse for. One they hung really unnecessarily large banners for in every single hallway, apparently. So, like, Jody cares a little bit, but she's also got this play and this little voice thing in her head. So she's like, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like she's worried. And the other tall girl is here to make these two men communicate, even though they live in the same house. The reason I say the whole, like, sister thing doesn't even really feel like a conflict, though, is that, like, Jody has, like, 3 other people that I guess have just been secretly in love with her. Her and Tony Soprano bond over their childhood trauma of being bullied, and they dance and kiss in, like, a golf course. Is this a playground or something? I don't know. It's gorgeous, but what the heck is this? But, you know, the next day, obviously, she feels bad, even though it's like, girl, go for it. You guys broke up. So much, like, Tony Soprano over Dougal, like, I'd take it. Turns out, obviously, Dinky is sad because, you know, he figures it would probably take him a few more years to find another girl to obsess over as much as he obsessed over Jody. And so he wants to get back together. But he fails to communicate this like 3 times in the movie, though. So Jody's sister is actually the one who ends up telling her to go to his house and break down his door if he's not answering his texts, which I'd say that's bad. That's also pretty bad advice. There's a lot of bad advice in this movie. But even when she goes over and talks to him, he's like still super mean to her because for some reason he still hasn't learned how to fucking communicate, even when the issue is literally right there. So they fight again and she leaves. Then I guess there's this big bonfire party for the theater kids where they go to burn their insecurities or something. We didn't really have anything like this. I kind of wish we did. But everyone's cleansing their sins before opening night. And we find out that Jody wants Dinky back too because she throws the shoes he gave her into the fire, but only to have them fished out by Kimmy. Yeah, Kimmy gets a character arc. There's a lot of subplots in this movie that just kind of like they're there, you know. They amount to like something, but it's not really it's not what I would call satisfying. Kimmy she's nice now, I guess, because everyone left her. And while this is going on, it's also discovered that IKEA bought all of the shirts that Farida designed in the movie, and they kiss, and this breaks girl code, which, you know, I feel like it depends, right? I mean, I personally think it's like the only good thing to happen in this whole movie. I mean, they sang ABBA. It's pretty cute. But they both, you know, they deserve so much better. Jody didn't even show up to her best friend's birthday party, and I guess no one cares about Sieg anymore, so. No one else at the school wants to be friends with Stieg, which, again, is pretty, not plausible to me. But anyways, you know, Jody has another little panic attack on the way home, and her parents comfort her and tell her it's all gonna be okay. And it's a pretty sweet scene, but again, it feels like, oh, right, the panic attack stuff. We put that in. We gotta do another scene before we forget because we have the final, yeah, we gotta get that in. And Jody and Harper have another heart-to-heart. A lot of heart-to-hearts in this movie, too. Turns out she's got the voice in her head, too. But through the power of sisterhood, I guess, the fear is, they conquer the fear. And now it's time for the, oh, wait, there's like another party, I guess. I thought we did the bonfire thing already, but I guess there's 2 parties. That's not fair. We didn't get 2 parties when I was in theater. Like, when they're on a boat because this is New Orleans, and Dinky and Jody have another heart-to-heart where looks like they're gonna get back together. And I want to talk more about that later on. Jody's afraid that she's gonna bomb the whole play and go back to being nothing but just the tall girl. Even though, it kind of seemed like she was doing like pretty okay in the beginning of the movie too. I'd be surprised if she didn't win the prom competition this year, to be honest with you. Maybe that'll be the 3rd tall girl. When she goes on, she takes a deep breath in and the performance goes off without a hitch. Well, a little hitch. Kimmy helps her out though and she gets through it okay. And, she rocked it. I guess she did great. At the end of the movie, she's kind of like, all right, you know what? I can do this. She reaffirms herself and the little voice in her head goes away. And of course, Dinky and her get back together. And at the after party, Dudu and Jody end up, kissing, making back up, and they're dancing. There's some people from the Tall Club there for some reason. And, the whole movie ends to a Backstreet Boys song I can't play on here. Hopefully, setting us up for yet another installment of Tall Girl. So I do have some thoughts on this movie. My first thing is I know everyone loves to call Duncan Dinglebert a short king, and he's way too good for Jody, and but yeah, and yes, she's a bit insufferable. She does not have the best personality. But to be honest with you, first of all, how do you expect the girl who grew up with a shorter but prettier, conventionally more attractive pageant winner sister and these 2 incredibly overindulgent parents, how do you expect her to not be narcissistic and self-deprecating? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to defend her or anything. I actually think, the little voice thing, the panic attacks, addressing that was kind of one of the good things about this movie. But she's not a great person herself. It's fine. She's a teen. Now she can sing and dance and act, I guess. So there's that. And, I gotta say, at the beginning and the middle of the movie, I was like, yes, thank God they're gonna break up. I really wanted them to stay broken up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna revise that, though, a little bit to say, okay. If a dude was pining me out in this way, right, for so many years and carried around some sort of weird prop just to kiss me, and then got way too weirdly angry during our 3-month anniversary when there was no reason for him to be actually mad, and I had real shit to do, and it kind of needs to find a hobby anyway, because all he's done for the past few years is obsess over me. And I found out that I could absolutely kill a stage performance all by myself, and I have this even newer found a sense of confidence in my tallness, and not only my tallness but my acting and my skills. I'd leave this guy in the dust. I'm sorry. I feel like Jody, she's insufferable, but she's destined for better things than this dude who actively chose to try and make her jealous the whole movie and didn't communicate at all with her even when prompted to several times. It still shows no actual change or reason to be on her same level. Doesn't really show any signs of not treating her like an icon or putting her on a pedestal anymore. Girl is gonna go far, my dude. You saw the performance, and I mean, it feels like you're just not contributing that much. I wouldn't be surprised if they broke up in the 3rd movie and stayed broken up. I mean, he couldn't even cook dinner. The pictures he took weren't great either. It's maybe if you didn't obsess over just one girl over a few years, you could have developed a hobby. The whole movie is just unrealistic. It was, I gotta say, I think it was better than Tall Girl 1. I think this one had more of an actual relatability to it. But at the same time, it's Jody's suddenly popular when she realizes it's okay to be tall. And it's I don't know if that's what really happens. I don't know if, that indicates to me that the people who made this movie are really in touch with the teens these days. I mean, maybe it does happen to some people. Who am I to say out of my 5-foot ass? Obviously, the message of being confident in yourself is great. So is the whole, communication with friends and family about panic attacks and anxiety and all of that. But it's sandwiched in this very dumb plot of a teen movie. And I realized something too. I mean, maybe Dinky and Jodie are perfect for each other, you know? Like Stieg and Frida got so fed up with these two idiots who just can't communicate and just they screwed off together, and good for them. I hope they find happiness and love. Ugh, I don't know. I felt these characters are very frustrating and their choices are very frustrating. But, you know, at the end of the day, what did we expect? What do we expect out of Tall Girl 2? I, for one, would maybe expect some, like, conscious response to criticism, something a little bit better in terms of healthy communication, not maybe ending up right back where you started with the person that you idolize and put on a pedestal and have shown no indication of stopping doing so. But Jodie's a piece of work, what can I say? So maybe they're just, right now, maybe they're just perfect for each other. Again, you know, I could go on about this, but I feel like I just wish someone at Netflix was trying. The entire premise of this movie is already, like, corny and, like, doesn't happen already. And instead of, like, taking that criticism, Netflix just doubled down on, like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. This tall, blue-eyed, blonde, rich girl is going through stuff, and you need to tune in for the next installment. I mean, we knew what this was. We knew what this was gonna be, right? It was Tall Girl 2. It was quite boring. You know what? It's like that Arrested Development meme when Michael opens the fridge and sees the dead doves.
No, I don't know what I expected.
It's like, what did I expect, you know? I'm impressed that they actually were able to make a plot out of this at all. Like, I'm sure the scriptwriters got this and they were like, we have to write a sequel? You want us to... Okay. All right. Maybe in the third movie, they'll actually break up. She'll finally be with someone who, like, actively shows that he enjoys talking to her and actively supports her dreams instead of just, like, being mad over nothing. That he couldn't even cook dinner for his girlfriend. I don't know. Sorry. This is not a safe space for Duncan fans. Anyway, that's really gonna be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a comment, you know, did you like Tall Girl 2? Did you hate Tall Girl 2? Did you think there were moral lessons to be learned here? Did you think there were not? It's definitely up for debate. Again, you know, like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thank you again for watching. I've got some covers and some other commentary videos up, so if you want to go check them out and let me know what you think. Other than that, I'm Abby, this is 1 minute off, and I'm gonna go watch the inevitable Darman spinoff of this exact plotline. Bye.